Welcome to Biography with Plutarch, where we embark on a fascinating journey through the lives of extraordinary individuals, seeking to understand the intricate tapestry of their experiences, choices, and character. Today, we delve into the remarkable life of Kris Kristofferson, a man whose path has woven together the threads of music, literature, and film, leaving an indelible mark on American culture. Born on June 22, 1936, in Brownsville, Texas, Kris Kristofferson entered this world amidst the tumultuous backdrop of the Great Depression and the impending storm of World War II. The dusty, sun-scorched landscape of southern Texas, with its vast open spaces and rugged individualism, would later influence his music and inform his worldview. His early life was a nomadic one, with his family frequently moving due to his father's career as a U.S. Army Air Corps officer. This peripatetic childhood, marked by countless goodbyes and new beginnings, would instill in Kristofferson a restless spirit and an ability to find inspiration in diverse landscapes and experiences. As a young boy, Kris was exposed to the harsh realities of military life, witnessing firsthand the discipline and camaraderie that defined his father's profession. He recalled the sound of drill sergeants' barked orders, the smell of polished leather, and the sight of precision-drilled formations, all of which left an indelible impression on his young mind. His parents, Lars Henry Kristofferson and Mary Ann Ashbrook, instilled in him a strong sense of duty and responsibility, values that would guide him throughout his life. The family's frequent relocations also meant that Kris had to adapt quickly to new environments and make friends under challenging circumstances, fostering a resilience that would serve him well in his future pursuits. Growing up, Kristofferson was drawn to literature and poetry, finding solace in the works of William Blake, Walt Whitman, and Emily Dickinson. His mother, an avid reader herself, encouraged his love for words, recognizing the transformative power of language. She would often read to him from the classics, her voice bringing to life the characters and stories that danced across the page. This early appreciation for the written word would eventually blossom into a successful songwriting career, as Kristofferson learned to harness the emotional depth and narrative complexity of poetry to craft songs that resonated with audiences worldwide. The Kristofferson family's moves took them to various parts of the country, including California and Tennessee, exposing Kris to a rich array of musical influences. He was particularly drawn to the folk music tradition, with its emphasis on storytelling and social commentary. Artists like Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger became heroes to him, embodying the spirit of activism and creative expression that would later define his own career. Kristofferson remembered listening to Guthrie's "This Land Is Your Land" for the first time, feeling a deep connection to the song's themes of social justice and American identity. As Kris navigated his teenage years, he began to feel the stirrings of rebellion, questioning the traditional values and expectations that had been placed upon him. His father, a strict disciplinarian, encouraged Kris to pursue a military career following in his footsteps. However, Kristofferson's heart belonged to the world of art and ideas, and he found himself increasingly at odds with the conventional path laid out before him. This tension would simmer just below the surface, waiting to boil over as he entered adulthood. The tension between Kris's creative aspirations and his family's expectations would come to a head during his time at Pomona College in California, where he began to explore his passion for writing and music in earnest. It was here, surrounded by like-minded individuals and immersed in the vibrant cultural scene of 1950s Los Angeles, that Kristofferson started to forge his own unique identity. One that would blend the rugged individualism of his childhood with the intellectual curiosity and artistic expression of his emerging adulthood. He spent countless hours attending poetry readings, folk music performances, and avant-garde film screenings, soaking up the creative energy of the city like a sponge. In the years that followed, Kristofferson would face numerous challenges and setbacks, from struggling to find his voice as a songwriter to navigating the cutthroat world of the music industry. Yet, through it all, he remained true to his artistic vision, driven by a fierce passion for storytelling and a commitment to using his platform to speak truth to power. As Kris Kristofferson navigated the vibrant cultural landscape of 1950s Los Angeles, he found himself increasingly drawn to the world of music, particularly the folk tradition that had captivated him in his youth. The city's eclectic mix of artists, musicians, and writers created a fertile ground for creative exploration, and Kristofferson was eager to soak up every influence. He spent countless hours attending concerts at the legendary Troubadour Club, where he witnessed performances by iconic folk singers like Pete Seeger and Joan Baez. These experiences not only deepened his appreciation for the genre, but also inspired him to begin writing his own songs. It was during this period that Kristofferson began to develop his skills as a songwriter, crafting lyrics that reflected his own unique perspective on the world. He drew inspiration from the works of literary giants like Ernest Hemingway and William Faulkner, whose themes of love, loss, and redemption resonated deeply with him. As he honed his craft, Kristofferson's songs began to take shape, infused with a poetic sensibility that would become a hallmark of his style. In 1958, Kristofferson graduated from Pomona College, and soon after, he received a Rhodes Scholarship to study at Oxford University, where he would further hone his writing skills and immerse himself in the rich literary heritage of England. The experience was nothing short of transformative, as Kristofferson delved into the works of poets like William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, whose emphasis on nature and the human condition resonated deeply with him. He also began to explore the blues tradition, drawn to the raw emotional power of artists like Robert Johnson and Son House. This eclectic mix of influences would eventually coalesce into Kristofferson's distinctive songwriting style, which blended elements of folk, rock, and country to create a unique sound that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. As he walked along the cobblestone streets of Oxford, Kristofferson felt the weight of history beneath his feet. The ancient university town, with its storied colleges and quaint pubs, seemed to whisper tales of forgotten lore and timeless wisdom. It was here, surrounded by the ghosts of literary giants past, that Kristofferson's own creative voice began to emerge. He spent long hours poring over dusty tomes in the Bodleian Library, devouring the works of Shakespeare, Keats, and Shelley. The experience was nothing short of intoxicating, as Kristofferson's mind expanded with the possibilities of language and storytelling. In the early 1960s, Kristofferson returned to the United States, where he began to pursue a career in music in earnest. He moved to Nashville, Tennessee, then the hub of the country music industry, and started writing songs for other artists. The city's vibrant music scene was a far cry from the rarefied atmosphere of Oxford, but Kristofferson was undaunted. He threw himself into the creative ferment of Music City, collaborating with fellow songwriters like Harlan Howard and Billy Joe Shaver. One of his earliest successes came in 1969, when Johnny Cash recorded Kristofferson's song, "Sunday Mornin' Comin' Down," which would go on to become a classic of American music. The story behind this song is worth telling. Kristofferson had written "Sunday Mornin' Comin' Down" during a period of personal turmoil as he struggled to come to terms with the end of a relationship. The song's themes of heartache and redemption resonated deeply with Cash, who was going through his own struggles with addiction and personal demons. When Cash recorded the song, he brought a level of gravitas and emotional depth that Kristofferson had never imagined possible. The result was nothing short of magic, as "Sunday Mornin' Comin' Down" became an anthem for a generation of Americans struggling to find their place in a chaotic world. This breakthrough was soon followed by another major success, as Ray Price recorded Kristofferson's "For the Good Times," which reached the top of the country charts in 1970. The song's gentle, lilting melody and poignant lyrics captured the mood of a nation torn apart by war, social unrest, and cultural upheaval. As Kristofferson's reputation as a songwriter grew, so did his profile as a performer. In 1970, he released his debut album, Kristofferson, which featured many of the songs that would become staples of his live shows, including "Me and Bobby McGee" and "Help Me Make It Through the Night." The album was a critical and commercial success, establishing Kristofferson as a major force in American music. Over the next few years, he would release a string of highly acclaimed albums, including "The Silver-Tongued Devil and I," 1971, and "Borderlord," 1972, which further cemented his reputation as one of the most innovative and compelling songwriters of his generation. These albums were more than just collections of songs. They were sonic tapestries that wove together themes of love, loss, and redemption. One of the defining moments of Kristofferson's career came in 1972, when he performed at the Johnny Cash Show at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. The concert was a who's who of country music royalty, with Cash, Willie Nelson, and Kris Kristofferson sharing the stage. As Kristofferson took the microphone to sing "Sunday Morning Comin' Down," the crowd erupted into applause, acknowledging the arrival of a new star on the musical horizon. As he looked out at the sea of faces, Kristofferson felt a sense of pride and accomplishment wash over him. He had come a long way from the troubadour clubs of Los Angeles, where he had first begun to hone his craft. The journey had been long and winding, but the end result was worth it. Kristofferson had become one of the most respected and beloved songwriters of his generation, with a body of work that would continue to inspire and uplift audiences for decades to come. In the years that followed, Kristofferson continued to push the boundaries of his art, experimenting with new sounds and themes. He released albums like The Silver-Tongued Devil and I, 1971, and Jesus Was a Capricorn, 1972, which explored the complexities of love, faith, and redemption. He collaborated with fellow artists like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, helping to shape the outlaw country movement that would redefine the genre. As Kris Kristofferson's career continued to flourish, he remained steadfast in his commitment to his art, releasing a string of critically acclaimed albums throughout the 1970s and 1980s that not only showcased his mastery of songwriting but also addressed themes of social justice, love, and personal struggle. These were not just abstract concepts for Kristofferson. They were deeply personal and rooted in his experiences as a veteran, a family man, and an observer of the world around him. His music resonated with audiences from all walks of life, transcending genres and generations with its universal appeal. The gravelly texture of his voice, the poetic depth of his lyrics, and the simplicity yet profoundness of his melodies combined to create songs that were both deeply intimate and broadly relatable. In 1985, Kristofferson embarked on a new creative journey when he joined forces with Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Johnny Cash to form the Highwaymen, a supergroup that would go on to release 3 albums and tour extensively. Together, they traveled across the United States, performing to sold-out crowds and leaving an indelible mark on the landscape of American music. The Highwaymen's music was a blend of their individual styles, creating a unique sound that was both nostalgic and innovative. Their tours were not just concerts, but events filled with stories, laughter, and a sense of camaraderie that extended from the stage to the audience. The 1990s saw Kristofferson's focus shift towards acting as he appeared in films such as Lone Star and A Soldier's Daughter Never Cries, roles that showcased his versatility as an artist and his ability to bring depth and nuance to his characters. However, music remained his first love, the medium through which he could most genuinely express himself. He continued to release new material, including the album This Old Road in 2006, a collection of songs that showcased Kristofferson's enduring ability to craft poignant, introspective lyrics that explored the human condition with grace and vulnerability. This album was a reflection of his life's journey, filled with themes of love, loss, and redemption, all set against the backdrop of an ever-changing world. He was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2004, an honor that recognized his influence on generations of songwriters and performers. In 2014, he received a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, a tribute to his body of work and his role as a trailblazer in the music industry. As he looked back on his life's work, Kristofferson reflected on the power of creativity to transcend time and circumstance, saying, "The songs I've written have been my way of trying to make sense of the world and to leave something behind that might be of use to someone else." This statement encapsulated not only his approach to songwriting, but also his philosophy on life, a belief in the transformative power of art and the importance of leaving a positive legacy. Kris Kristofferson passed away on June 14, 2023, at the age of 87, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most influential and beloved songwriters of his generation. His music continues to inspire new artists and fans alike, offering a timeless commentary on the human experience that resonates just as deeply today as it did when his songs were first written. His legacy is not just in the songs he wrote or the roles he played, but in the way he lived his life, with integrity, creativity, and a deep commitment to his craft. He saw the world through the eyes of a poet, finding beauty in the mundane and hope in the darkest of times. Kristofferson's journey was not without its challenges, but he faced each one with courage and resilience, using his experiences as fodder for his art. That's all for today's Biography with Plutarch. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that understanding the lives of remarkable individuals helps us better understand ourselves.